Okay, everybody, welcome back to another weekly market review for F45 trading for the week of February 18th to 22nd. Reviewing the news coming out this week, we do have a bank holiday for the US dollar, and actually, coincidentally, where I'm located in Canada, we also have a holiday as well, too, over in the area I'm located in. So I won't be doing a whole lot of activity tomorrow, and the US dollar probably won't be doing a ton either, but that doesn't mean that the euro, the cable, the yen pairs, and every other market won't be going. So just be aware of that going into Monday, February 18th. It is a bank holiday. We've got some Australian dollar monetary news meeting minutes coming up the end of trading day into the Asian range Monday evening for about 7:30 p.m. New York time. So I'm expecting a good movement on there, and I'll talk about that chart here in a few minutes. And then going into Tuesday, we have some pound sterling news happening 4:30 a.m. New York time. Tuesday, and then some more Aussie news on Tuesday to close off the daily session. And then going into Wednesday, we've got some fairly major impact news, FOMC meeting minutes for Wednesday for the US dollar. So if you're going to be trading the US dollar or any cross pairs, I would definitely be doing your trading Monday, Tuesday, and then I would highly recommend you taking the day off on Wednesday. And again, Australian dollar, we're seeing a lot of news from the Aussie this week. On Wednesday, we've got employment and unemployment rates coming out. So be mindful of that. And then going into Thursday, we have several Euro news events, number of French, German news, manufacturing minutes, PMI news, all of the above. One big high impact news event here at 3:30 a.m. And then we do have a pound public sector net borrowing news event at 4:30 a.m. So I'm expecting some pretty significant movement on the euro on Thursday, and then again another high impact news event for U.S. dollar coming in Thursday, early New York open, and then late in the day Canadian dollar. Governor Poles is speaking, and then some more Australian dollar news on Thursday. So again, that Aussie is definitely going to be seeing a bit of a run. And then going into Friday, some Canadian dollar news, and lots of FOMC speakers for the U.S. coming in Friday later in the day. So if you're going to take a day off of the week, it would definitely be the Friday. You probably don't want to be involved when these speakers are talking, and then we also have the European President Draghi speaking as well too. So all in all, fairly high impact news week coming out. So just keep some of these dates in mind. And again, I wouldn't be trading the US dollar for Wednesday, and I would be very careful on the euro. But again, I would expect the euro to do quite a bit of movement come Thursday. So let's jump in the charts here real quick and have a look. The US dollar, we came off of these highs in here from last week. Price was really just sitting sideways 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then finally the fifth day, which was last Friday, price popped up in here. And if you guys will recall from previous recorded sessions, I said that I was expecting price to come and run up into this territory up in here, and that's exactly what we had done. So they closed that price range off quite nicely. Price came in at a high at 97.20. Just gonna mark that on here real quick, and then rejected quite strongly. So I think the range, the momentum range moving higher has been fulfilled for the short term. I think we're going to see a bit of a projection downwards, and my eye instantly goes right underneath these lows right here. We could come a little bit deeper than that as well too. We could come all the way down here. I don't want to see price have to trade all the way back down here and come down to the the high 95 levels or even 96. I'd like to see price run down here and reject, and then try to make another run higher. But I'm not going to put it off as well too and say that it can't happen. So really my line in the sand on this, if when we run these two lows under here, which should happen, again, it's a bank holiday tomorrow, If it doesn't happen by Wednesday, I'd be surprised. But what they could do is come down Tuesday, sort of Monday, Tuesday, run those lows Tuesday, and even wait until Wednesday for that FOMC news to come out, and then reject and then push higher. That potentially could come to fruition. But if we lose this 96 level, I'd say 96.20 level, then I'm going to be a little more on the bearish side of things, and I'm going to suggest that we probably will see price fall lower and probably want to regroup around the mid 95 level. So just keep that in mind. Now, ultimately, we'll switch out to a quick weekly here. I think ultimately what we're going to see happen here is price is going to run above these equal highs up at here. And I've been talking about these highs for a while. Price, obviously, with everything going on in the U.S. right now, with the closure of the government down there, and the FOMC coming in and halting their interest rate hikes and everything else in between, it's led to a little bit of uncertainty in the U.S. dollar market, as you can see by this big extended consolidation area that we're in. So just be mindful of that. We could just easily come right back down in the middle of this consolidation range, which is why I have the 96.20 level marked out here. So if we do lose that, I would expect lower prices. And I'm not suggesting that we're going to come and run underneath these lows anytime soon. My bias is actually a little bit more to the upside. As I say, I think these highs are eventually going to get run. And we made a nice breakout to them last week. So I'm hoping that momentum is going to continue into this week. But for the first part of the week, I'm expecting them to probably drop this thing lower, and more than likely, let me just fix this chart here, and more than likely they're going to run these lows under here, and I'm looking for a rejection under there, and then when that rejects, if it does, then I'll be looking at taking opposite positions on other foreign currency pairs for that run. So with that in mind, let's flip over to the euro quick. Euro, again, same type of idea. We had made a nice run down last week, and I was looking for all of these lows in here to get ran. We did that nicely. Basically, all last week was a consolidation, and then Friday really put that nice range in quite deeply and rejected heavily. So simple flipping the charts here, if we have a look at the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm looking for the euro to come up and take these highs here, and then again, if we do see that U.S. dollar runs those comparable lows and then reject, we could easily see the U.S. Euro USD do the same thing. But I would expect them to take these highs out here. Now, same type of idea. If we see this level broken to the upside, I'll make it an even level just to kind of give a couple extra pips one way or another. But the 11400, if we start running well above 11400, then I think there's a very good chance that we could start to rebalance off of this small consolidation level in here. You see this 1, 2, 3, 4 candle pattern right in here. Very good chance if we lose that 1400, we're going to come all the way back up into here. From there, I don't know. We could push above here. We'll have to assess it then. But I am expecting, again, them to run these highs here. And then if they want to keep going, I would expect this to be a target on the upside. But just depending on what the U.S. dollar wants to do, if we do a short, quick run down and reject, there's no way the euro is going to get all the way up to 11400. So I would expect them to just sort of pop above these two highs in here and then reject to the downside. And there's lots of room left on the downside. Again, we still have a couple equal lows down here that, in my opinion, are going to be targets on the downside going forward, and there's lots more on the weekly lower than that that I would be very interested in looking at, but we got to get through that last low there before that's ever going to happen. So then the 1.100 level is sort of, I think, would be on the menu. So I'll leave that on there for now, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. For now, I'm just looking to see a short protraction higher and then with a continuation lower, as long as we get the same opposite symmetrical movement lower on the US dollar and then a rejection higher. Cable coming in here. I don't know if you guys caught any of my previously recorded videos from last week, but I said these lows in here, these 1, 2, 3 lows, all going to get run out, and that's exactly what happened last week into Thursday, and then Friday had a nice rejection day on Friday, but Thursday came down, made a decisive low, and rejected exactly as I said. Now, in terms of what they want to do with cable, they've slid this down quite a bit. If we look on the weekly, as you can see, price, we are still in a downtrend. We have failed to get above these highs in here as of yet. We had a um, nice strong bull market for about 2-3 months in this range in here, and ever since we've been giving it back quite nicely. Now, we did run these short-term lows in here, which was the target. I would expect a little bit of pullback, and who knows where they want to go from here. My bias so far on the cable, it is upside momentarily, but I want to see what happens going into next week and see what the U.S. dollar does here this week. So I'm going to be holding off on my trades on the cable until then. But I do think if we do see some significant rejection on the U.S. dollar, then there's a very good chance that it could want to run up in this high, run that high in there. So I'll be watching for that. But my trade last week was this downtrend in here, and hopefully you guys got in on that as well too. Would have rewarded you quite nicely. And now, like I say, I would just hold off until the U.S. dollar decides to make its range, and then we'll know if they want to keep driving down or if this, in fact, was the low that they got back in early January, and they're not going to come back down for that again, and then they're going to push up for these highs here. So short-term target on this week would be 129. I'm going to put this to an even 1300 level. And that would be my target on the week. I think they can easily make that, especially after this downward slide. It would be probably on the menu for them to reject and come higher, just to soak up some of the liquidity that they've left above the market here. If indeed they are going lower, that'll remain to be seen. We'll have to wait for that to pan out. So, but that's my target on now. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we're 129.08 right now. Nice 100 pip range to the upside is what we could be looking for on cable, so I'll be watching for that. U.S. CAD is a little bit more indecisive. We've had some market consolidation, so as the U.S. dollar was pushing to new highs in here, we did have a bit of a consolidation, but it was still overall an up move. Last week, the U.S. CAD was basically sitting sideways and gave up a little bit of a range on Friday, just as the U.S. dollar did. It did punch above these highs here, but we still have failed to get above this major market shift rate here. So again, I'll be looking for continued lower downside targets on U.S. CAD, and the first one that comes to mind is a swing beneath this low here and a rebalance to 131.60. You know what, I'm actually gonna change that. 131.50, I think, to the downside could be our target. So we'll watch for that. I'm not going to talk too much about U.S. CAD because this isn't necessarily as correlated to the U.S. dollar as I'd like it to be currently. So I'm going to hold off on any trades on U.S. CAD and evaluate for this week, and then we'll see sort of what next week wants to bring on this pair. Yen hasn't been doing much, slowly trickling upward, as you can see here, and not much symmetry to the U.S. dollar either, so I'm not going to talk about this pair, but I actually would expect them to continue higher. But again, if the U.S. dollar is going to be pulling down this week, it could drag down the yen, and I could see them bringing it back down to 110.80, 110.90. I'm sorry, 110 even. Get rid of this. See that a little bit better? I could easily see them come down to this level here, and then from there, as long as they want to gather some support up in this level here, very good chance that they could finally start to run for these highs here, which I've been calling for a little while now. I've just failed to get in there last week, and I don't need an exact level. I think you guys can see the highs. I'll just put a level on that right there. These highs right in here, and I think that's, whoops, I think that's where we're headed for the yen. But I think it's going to give up a little bit of ground before it gets there. So we'll just watch for that. Australian dollar, I'm predicting further continuation to the downside on Australian dollar, but we've got a lot of Aussie news this week, so be careful with this pair. If you are an Aussie trader, go easy on this pair. There's a lot of news happening, and the market could fluctuate quite a bit, so you definitely don't want to get trapped on the wrong end of an Aussie move, especially like this big black swan day right here early on in January. That happened. That probably knocked a lot of people out, and that was about a 200 pip daily move out of the blink of an eye out of nowhere. So just be careful on Aussie. I'm not suggesting that we're going to see this happen again, but again, there are a ton of news events all throughout the week, and so be mindful of that. I'm looking though for 0.190, 0.7190 to get hit, and then from there, I think that's where the current pull on price is. Where it goes from there after that, it could rebound and come all the way back down and try to sweep these lows and maybe even try to make a run for this in here, this market structure in here, or it could just keep popping straight through there. At this point, I don't know yet. Again, it's going to depend in large part as well too as to how significant they want to drop the US dollar. And finally, I'm just going to run through the crude oil market real quickly here. We had a nice, had a nice bit of consolidation on crude oil extended for better part of this year, and finally we made a little headway and popped out of that. Now I'm hoping that we're going to continue to see upward momentum on crude oil. I really don't want to see them have to slowly walk this thing sideways and slightly up. I think we had a nice dip down here with a nice rejection to follow, and then they've been compressing price ever since this run got started in here. And again, they've just been compressing price. So I think the next big upswing on this is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of up into here. So that's what I'm looking for on crude oil, but I would like to see them come back a little bit. Now I've got a couple of levels in here that I'm watching. One level is right here, and it's just about at it right now, but about 55.50 is sort of what I'm looking at as the first level, and then the second level, 54.75. If I can get this on the chart. Here, let me do it the easy way here. That's kind of where I'm looking at them to come back down to. So I'd like to see a measure of rejection from current location, but I don't want to start seeing them go a ton lower. Like I don't want to see them start coming in and breaking through these candles, these daily candles in here. I do not want to see them go lower than last Friday's low right here. That's sort of my line in the sand. If they go lower than this low from last Friday, then I'm going to expect that they'll probably want to rebalance all the way back down to 52, probably about 52.90 was what I'd be looking for if that if that low from last Friday got ran out. So I can't get this up on this thing here. Give me 1 second. Let me just fix that. There we go. So just watch out for that. If this level, if this low gets run and they're pushing, then they're probably going to want to try to rebalance off of this 52.90. At the very least, this candle high in here at 54, big figure. So just watch that on crude. But again, I am expecting higher. We finally broke out and we broke above this high here. I am expecting a bit of a downward momentum to start off the week, but I'm hoping that they're going to finish the week off somewhere up in the neighborhood of $57 to $58 to finish off the week. So we'll watch for that, and hopefully you guys were able to gain some insight off of this this week's market outlook. If you have any questions, if you're part of the membership, please throw those into the chat. If you are not a member and you do have some questions, by all means you can email us at f45trading@gmail.com, or you can jump onto our website at f45trading.com and have a look at some of the options there that our members are enjoying. We've got chat rooms, we've got live signals. We've got live market reviews 4 days a week, and a whole lot more. So I think you're definitely going to get some value out of that. So I hope you all have a great week of trading. Good luck this week. Watch the news because there are a few events coming up. And if you're a member, we'll catch up to you tomorrow. If not, we'll catch up to you on the next recording. Thanks very much. Have a great day.